Welcome everyone to Solomon's Crown. So today, guys, we're gonna talk about a very important topic about this NFL football player who pretty much ruined his life. He was involved in a domestic dispute with his girlfriend, I believe, and this NFL player is called Zac Stacy. So, from what has been said, this guy, he had a history of abuse to his girlfriend and mother of his child multiple times, and in this recent one, he pretty much picked her up and threw her like across the house. She filed a restraining order. He's facing like two felony charges and up to 15 years in prison. This is a successful NFL player who's making a lot of money, who is in a top percentile of men that a lot of men would kill for. But because he let his emotions get the better of him, now his life is pretty much ruined, like forever. So, Will, what do you think about this whole situation?
That like the way he treated her was just so bad. Like, and the thing is like it's even hard to watch from somebody who would never do that because it's just like, bro, like, what are you thinking? Like, at what point in time do you put first, not even just putting your hands on a woman, uh, putting hands on the mother of your child like that? Like, what if he would have killed her? Then you would have had a child who was left alone because you're definitely going to jail. The mother's dead, and it's just wrong. I mean, it's like what leads somebody to that level where they feel like they need to get that angry, and like he beat her like a man. Like he threw her
Yeah.
into a TV threw fell down. Like she tried to like, and you could see that she was just kind of like trying to explain like, yo, what is going on? Like she was putting her hands up like in self-defense, like, and he's still just swinging on her. So I mean, we've seen this multiple times with
Mhm.
NFL players, athletes, just
Yeah.
beating on women. And I mean, even was it Hernandez who ended up killing two dudes?
Kill
And
himself.
yeah,
And there was this guy named Rice who beat up a girl in an elevator.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was back in the
But
day.
yeah, back in the day. But it's just a trend where, I mean, I don't honestly, I can't say what background he came from,
Mm,
but I think it's just the emotional intelligence isn't there. The maybe the male figure to kind of like put these guys on game and how to handle emotions is not there, because it's like a lot of the times, like, I think the biggest downfall of men is when they let their emotions get the better of them. Because I think as males, a lot of the, I guess, boundaries of respect that we have, a lot of the ways that we operate with each other is because we know that the threat of violence is always looming, right? So you're not going to go up to somebody and talk to them anyway or do them anything because you don't know what that other man is capable of. On the back end of it, that's why a lot of women, especially nowadays, can kind of talk to you sideways and whatnot, because they know if you put your hands on them, they have the law behind their side, and the court of public opinion,
mm,
right? But to go back to my talking point, it's the point at which where I think a man like that, who doesn't have the emotional intelligence, that doesn't have the stoicism within himself to kind of, you know, think logically, hey, what's going on in the situation? Why am I angry? Or if I'm angry, how should I respond? The obvious lack of logical thought was absent there. So he did what he did, and now his life is ruined for what? He did all that hard work of probably going through, middle school and high school and college football, and made it to an NFL for, I think he said, like, he got angry over his wife a dispute over rent money. It's like rent money, like seriously, like
Right.
it's just it's a different breed of men out here right now, and it's just
I mean, that
it's
goes back
scary.
into like men's mental health. Like the thing
Hmm.
is like men's mental health has never been like a
Yeah,
primary like subject that has been discussed. It's always been like, yo, you're a man, like you should just
suck it
suck it
up.
up. Yeah,
Yeah,
essentially. But I think in the light of situations like this, it can bring to light that people, men in general, need to focus on their mental health. I mean, speaking from the military standpoint, I mean, we deal with a lot of things that would break a lot of people, and that's not saying that we deal with like the worst things, but like the people who are
yeah,
really going through it. I mean, we've seen suicides, we've seen people try to
yeah,
harm themselves, and what does it come down to? Is just essentially they're in a mental state that they feel that they cannot get out of, or nobody wants to help them, or like even just one phone call. And I've personally dealt with uh, multiple suicides situations with my boys, and it's I've tried to understand the situation, and it's not something that is, hey, we can just talk this out. It's like somebody needs to realistically seek help, and you have to build a habit of constantly seeking
hmm,
help. And a lot of these dudes just kind of give up on that. Um,
yeah,
and that is something that you can't change as a professional. Like, uh, not to talk too much on it, but like one of my homeboys, he attempted suicide, and like for months, I tried to like talk to him, like be there for him and things like that. And I even seeked medical, like I had a couple of people who were like psychiatrists and things like that, and
hmm,
I talked to them, and they were just like, yo, it's nothing that you can do. Like, no matter what you do, at the end of the day, they have to seek the help that they need to get out of the
yeah,
situation. So it's like, even with me not being a trained professional, but wanting to help people, um, it just wasn't enough, because it's not just like a, hey man, get over it. Like, and the thing is like us as men have not necessarily had this put into perspective where seeking help is not a sign of weakness.
it isn't.
Everybody needs help. Everybody, no matter who you are. I mean, even highly successful men, like top tier men, probably have a therapist that they go and talk to, because there's a lot of moral decisions or moral things that go against, or things that go against your morals when it comes to running a business, when it comes to being successful, when it comes to just dealing with life in general. Um, I've had plenty of people come up to me and be like, "How can you serve in the military? This, and that." And that's just something that they feel that shouldn't be done. But I'm not going to dig too deep into that, because that's just a whole nother conversation when it goes into like the bigger picture of things. Um, but to put your hands on a woman like that, that's out of pocket. Like, that's uncalled for.
Super out of pocket. I mean, there is, where was his parents, where were the people around him growing up to address these issues? And I mean, as much as mental health is under, underemphasized among men, I feel like I'm not trying to victim blame, but I feel like there comes to a point, especially as a man, where you have to realize that something is wrong. Like, there's something like fundamentally wrong for you to have these violent outbursts, because this isn't the first time physically and probably verbally abused his woman. And it's like, seek help. As you said, it's not a weakness to go and seek help. It's just it's strength to realize that, hey, I have an issue, let me go fix it. You know what I mean? So it's unfortunate, and unfortunately he deserves what, jail time he gets, because that's just unacceptable, I think, in my
Yeah, like
opinion.
he brutally beat this woman, and it's just
Yeah.
like, I mean, that's the thing too. Is like, I've dealt with domestic abuse. Can I talk today? I've dealt with domestic abuse with some of my female friends in the past, and it's on both sides, to be honest, because they see that these red flags are popping up, these situations can potentially happen, and even after the first one, they're just kind of like, oh well, it was my fault and they try to blame themselves and things like that, or maybe I was in the wrong. And it's never, the victim is never in the wrong,
He's
but that's
never the
just,
bad for yeah.
yeah, it's just kind of like one of those situations where you don't expect that from somebody that you potentially care about and love. And
And I
is,
think as yeah, I
no, go
think
ahead.
as females, like, they're scared because men are, physically stronger than them, especially an NFL player. So they're just scared. They don't want to say something and then, they get
Yeah,
angry and kill them. So that's why a lot of them stay quiet. So it's you kind of have to see it from the female perspective too. Like, they're
yeah.
scared for their lives. So
And that was one of the things that was brought up in the past. It's just like,
yeah,
I mean, these dudes are obviously capable of putting their hands on a female. So what makes them think that they won't come and find them? And
yeah,
that's living in fear, to be honest. But
yeah,
I think that's really all that needs to be said about this situation.
yeah.
There's not, I mean, it's pretty cut and dry. Like, this dude definitely deserves everything that's coming to him as far as being put in jail. But it's something that we can highlight and look at and be like, things need to change and people need to step up. I mean, obviously somebody saw the signs of this. So if you are that friend, like, you need to say something, you need to step in and potentially avoid situations like this.
All right. With that being said, we're out.
Later.
Peace.